Hi and welcome. This is just a quick, not really a review, just a quick what my thoughts on this Fengda Airbrush. I know there's been a lot of YouTube videos out there on these recently and how good or not good they potentially are. And I thought I'd just show you what I picked up, and what I plan to do is more of just a quick overview, and then what I'll do is I'll try and do some more regular updates of how I'm finding it, whether it works, whether it's good, what its flaws are if it has any, and so, a bit about it, how long we think I think it's going to last. Will it be a good reliable airbrush long term? But I actually got two bits, so I'm going to quickly talk about this bit first in the box. So this is a cleaning pot. I think it's a fairly standard one. I already have one, but it's all the rubber seals on it are gone, and it's just I've had it about 10 years, it's completely knackered. So I thought it was time to get a new one anyway. What's quite nice about this, though, of course, is it comes with the cleaning bits for the Fengda airbrush, so it seemed like a good thing to get. So let's just open this up and have a quick look at what we actually get in here. So we get some cleaning tools for cleaning, I guess, the main body of the airbrush in a small plastic packet. We get, I'm not quite sure what they're actually supposed to be. They're sort of metal rods. We get an extremely tiny instruction leaflet that tells us, I think that's just, their customer services. We get polystyrene. Out of the way. It's just an empty box. So we get the sort of fairly standard airbrush cleaning pot. Oh, interesting filters. This is quite different from the ones I had in my other. It's exactly the same pot as far as I can tell. It certainly looks the same, but they're very thin filters. Normally they're much thicker. So let's see what else we get in here. So yeah, we get these really tiny, as you can see, quite thin filters. Then my other one, in fact I've probably got a few. Might see if I can find some, show you the difference in a minute, but they're really thin compared to the other one. And then in a little bag inside, we get a piece here for holding an airbrush, and we get the sort of reamer tool for cleaning the nozzle on your airbrush. I have to say, it looks quite nice, although I'm not sure. It's got a fairly fine point, although what size, whether that's for the 0.8, the 0.5, or it's just a general purpose, no real way to actually tell. There's no indication, and there's no other instructions. In fact, there isn't really any instructions at all with this, because, as I say, this really is just customer service type information, but it's pretty good. I mean, I guess, I wonder if you could still, let's see if I've got my old one. Yeah, you can. I mean, this one's puffed up because it's been used, but as you can see, I mean, even when it's not got, it's got a slight bit of fluid in it. It's a much thicker. It's about 3 or 4 times thicker than the piece that's currently in there. But this is the same. Yeah, I mean, you could get the thicker ones and put them in here. I don't think it would be a problem. But that's good. I mean, so you've got some cleaning tools there, which is hopefully going to be useful. So we'll just pop that over there, put that to one side for a minute. And then we'll take a look at the airbrush quickly. Not even opened yet. It's brand new. comes in a nice box. Plastic cover. Now you get a braided type air hose. It's always handy to have a spare. I don't actually need one. I've got quite a decent one on my compressor at the moment, but it's always useful to have a spare. And you've got the various adapter there. Has an interesting smell. Not sure I can't quite place it. When we've got a bit of instructions, again another one of these leaflets, customer service type leaflets, and then a breakdown of the parts, which is obviously quite useful if you need to buy any spares, and an extremely basic guide on operation and maintenance. This one comes with a 0.3, 0.5 and 0.8 needle. This is the 183K. I assume the K stands for kit. And then we've got various bits and pieces. For some reason we've got a nozzle that's floating around. That looks like that's this one here. That's the 0.8 nozzle that's been floating around. Now I chose this one rather than, I know a lot of one of the favourites is the 180, which comes with a 0.2 needle, and it comes with a Mac valve. I particularly like this because it is quite reminiscent of a Harder and Steenbeck, where you've got this floating nozzle, and I always think they're less prone to damage than the sort of Iwata type copies. The Iwata copies, you generally have to take them carefully. You've got a little tiny spanner and you undo the nozzle, and there's always a risk of damage. Obviously, you know, you just need to be careful. But I think with these, they're certainly, if you're fairly new to airbrushing, I think there's much less likelihood of damage, because you can take this off and clean this without, well, other than the tool for the basic, you know, the larger spanner here. So let's carefully pop that back on there. I'll tighten that up in a minute. I'll just carefully put the cap. So initial thoughts, obviously it's got a reasonable amount of weight to it. Let's unscrew this and just... I know some people have said that doesn't feel that smooth, but actually, let's just compare it. Now, unfortunately I don't have an Iwata here. I do have a Procon, which again, let's be honest, is kind of a knockoff of a Iwata airbrush. And yes, it is smoother, although I don't think that's too bad compared to that, actually. And I've also got a Harder and Steenbeck as well, which again, yes, it's, you know, it's without a shadow of a doubt, it's slightly smoother, but actually for a cheap airbrush I don't think that's too bad. I don't know, you know, you can strip it down, lubricate it, clean up polish up the needle, and it might actually improve that to performance. But certainly weight wise, you know, it looks and it feels quite nice. I like the idea of being able to take out the colour cup as well, unlike the fixed colour cups. This gives you, it just makes cleaning easier at the end of the day. And of course you've got different sizes. You know, if you're doing a very small amount of work, you can work with the small pot, and then you've got obviously the larger pots or the larger cups for the other you know, for high amounts of paint. Let's put this, I'm guessing this has probably come out of here looking at this. Yeah, so you've got your 0.3, which is probably where I'll probably start with the 0.5 and see how it goes. I'll be interested, and then potentially, depending on what I'm doing, I might change it up to the 0.3. You don't get a lid by the looks of things for the smaller cup, which is a bit of a shame, but you do for the other two. And of course you get your two needles in there as well. Let's just make sure we've got 0.3, 0.5, sorry, 0.3 and 0.8 to match up, so that's cool. So yeah, so initial impressions look good. I think, so what I'm going to try and do here is every couple of weeks, maybe at least once a month over the next few months, I'll kind of come back to you and sort of give my opinion of how I found it. You know, does it spray well? Do I think it's going to last? You know, any issues I might come across? Yeah, I'll put into a YouTube video. Hopefully, it might be helpful. Well, thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.